And you need to look at me like that, young man. We started this journey far too hurriedly to make any calculations. You know that as well as I do.
Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about Doctor Who's second story, or serial as I should call it, The Daleks, or The Mutants as it was also known. This was changed due to John Pertwee's story of the same name, which was broadcast in 1972. The Daleks is a 7-part story. I must admit to having never watched this until recently. It was broadcast from 21st of December 1963 and was written by the Dalek creator Terry Nation. The first episode is called The Dead Planet. The crew land on the planet Skaro. The Doctor wants to investigate the planet and, in particular, the city that they can see in the distance. When the others object, he conveniently suggests that he needs mercury to refill a fluid link, otherwise the TARDIS cannot take off, basically meaning that they have to visit the city to try and find some mercury. We get to see the food machine inside the TARDIS, which is great.
All right, bacon and eggs.
Bacon and eggs, yes.
But,
TARDIS is fully automatic.
Yes, certainly.
The crew make it to the city, which is beautifully realised, and I really like the model of the city. I also enjoyed seeing the Pac-Man symbol on the doors. Although the episode is a bit of a slow burner, the last few minutes in the city are great, creating a tense, claustrophobic atmosphere, particularly for Barbara. It ends with the iconic cliffhanger of the Daleks' plunger approaching Barbara. The second episode is called The Survivors. The crew are looking for Barbara and all are starting to feel ill with radiation sickness. The Doctor admits to tricking the crew about the mercury just so that he can see the city. We get to see the Daleks in full, and Ian gets shot, although, somewhat conveniently, his legs are only temporarily paralysed. Susan is least affected by the radiation, so it's decided that she should go back to the TARDIS to get the anti-radiation drugs to help the crew. This had conveniently been left outside of the TARDIS by the Thals being the people who occupy the planet. The jungle is well realised and it feels like a dangerous place. The third episode is called The Escape. We get the first view of the Thals, who the Daleks describe as being mutated. In reality, they look like the grown-up version of the Children of the Corn. The Dalek carrying the food tray to the prisoners is pretty hilarious. The crew realise that all the floors are metal and that the Daleks are powered by static electricity. The crew overpower a Dalek and Ian climbs into the Dalek after removing the mutation inside and covering it in a blanket. The episode ends with a claw emanating from the blanket. The fourth episode is called The Ambush. Ian is temporarily stuck inside the Dalek. Ian catches the Doctor's face with his elbow.
I get my fingers in, sorry.
The Thals are ambushed and some are killed by the Daleks. Ian tries to convince the Thals to stand up to the Daleks. The crew are about to leave the planet as they don't really want to become involved, but then realise that the fluid link is missing and that they have to go back to the city to get it. Episode 5 is called The Expedition. This episode drags a bit because of the Daleks talking a lot to each other. Despite being caught in the face earlier, the Doctor continues to mispronounce Ian's surname.
What you might call tempting providence, Jessamine.
The Thals decide to go to the city to attack the Daleks. They go to a swamp area and one of the Thals is killed by something unknown. Episode 6 is called The Ordeal. The Daleks want to prepare a neutron bomb, but it will take too long. Instead, they decide to release lethal radiation to kill the Thals. The Doctor and Susan disable some of the static electricity, although they are then captured by the Daleks. Episode 7 is called The Rescue. The Daleks set a very slow 100-second counter before the radiation is released. Ian and the Thals find their way into the city via the caverns, and there is a great fight scene with rocks being thrown at the Daleks and the Daleks being turned over upside down. Ultimately, the static power is switched off and the Daleks are beaten. Could this be the end of the Daleks? After saying their goodbyes, the TARDIS leaves, but there is a significant malfunction mid-flight, and the story ends. The ratings average for each episode is 9 million, which is significantly more than the first story. The story polled at number 5 out of 29 stories in the Doctor Who Monthly 60-year poll for First Doctor stories. It also polled 46th out of 241 in the Doctor Who Monthly 2014 Big Poll. This does include some new Doctor Who stories. It was the first Doctor Who story to be novelised in 1964 by David Whittaker, entitled Doctor Who in an Exciting Adventure with the Daleks. It was released on BBC Home Video in 1989. This is the story that created the global phenomenon of the Daleks. The Daleks could have been laughable, in fact they are laughable with their sink plunger attachments, and it could have failed spectacularly. Luckily, it didn't. I enjoyed the story, although it did drag slightly in the middle. I would rate it as 8 out of 10. I hope that you enjoyed this brief review of the story, and that you will join me again for the next story, The Edge of Destruction. Until then, goodbye.